How embarrassing is it that I can't make a heart with my hands? Oh god. This foundation makes my face look really orange. Do you feel like my face is really orange? I feel like my face is really orange. Oh, that powder did me dirty.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you new here, my name is Donna, and for those of you not new, thank you so much for continuing to come back and support my channel. I appreciate all of you so very much. You know that I do. Today I am doing an if I could only choose one. And you know, I think I saw Kellie Gooch do this, and I will link her video down in my description box. And she does this every year, and I thought that this would be a great, like, just little reminder of my favorites every single year. Things that I find myself loving, things that I find myself dipping into. I loved the thought process of this idea because these are the favorite items that I have had in my collection that I have used over 12 months time consistently, and while some of them are rather new to my collection, they are still items that I pull from regularly. And I have a giant collection, you guys. I mean, it's not as giant as some, but it's definitely not curated. I have a lot of products, so even if a product does come into my collection and it's rather new, I think the newest I have in here is like a couple months old. So even if it is newer to me, if I'm consistently pulling for it over the 80 other blushes that I have to choose from, you know, it's a fave for me. So with that being said, I kind of went through my categories as if I were going through my inventory. So while there are some sectors of my inventory that I didn't put into this, most of these really drill down into like each avenue of my inventory. If my house was on fire, but I had enough time, God forbid, maybe that's a horrible analogy. If I had to move out of town in a jiff and I couldn't take every single product with me, but I could pick one of every single thing, what would it be? If that sounds like something you're interested in, I know I am super interested in. I would love to know what everybody's only pick one product would be. Here's the true tea of this. I don't think any of these fall into, there's a couple that fall into like a favorite of mine. These are just products I know work, products I know I can get the most bang out of my buck for, products I know I love on my skin, I love to work with, they work well every single time, they're very consistent. They're not necessarily my end-all speak-all favorite of this category, but they're products I know are working. If that sounds like something you are interested in, please just keep watching. Alright, y'all, I tried to go in order. Please forgive me if I get a little bit lost because you know I tend to do that. So let's start with primer. If I had to choose one primer that I wanted to use for the rest of my life, it would be this. This is the Hourglass Veil, which is a mineral primer. It is oil free. It is a beautiful bottle, but we're not talking about components today. Today we are talking about the product itself. I love this product because it is a blurring, beautiful primer. It makes my face look skin tuned. So this is it right here, and it is really milky, really white, but then as you start blending it into your skin, it kind of has this like blue tint to it, which also creates like a brightening effect on your skin. And I feel like every single foundation that I lay over the top of it looks beautiful. I'm not wearing it today. I hate this foundation. I just feel like it is such a really beautiful primer. It does blur the skin. I don't know if you guys can tell on my hand, but look how much brighter my hand is compared to the other one just by putting that primer onto my hand. I just don't feel like I could live without it, honestly. It is the most amazing primer. And for foundation, I did choose the Pure 4-in-1 Love Your Selfie. You guys, I fell in love with this foundation. Truth be told, I did get it in gratis the first time I got it via GMC. I do work for Ulta Beauty. I do get gratis because of my job in the beauty industry, and I am so humbled and appreciative of everything that I receive. When I received this foundation, I wasn't going to try it. I don't like a lot of what Pure puts out, if I'm honest. I have a very apparent love-hate relationship with them. I either really love a product that they have or I really hate it and my skin hates it. This is a product that I am so thankful that I got in gratis, but also a product I'm so thankful that my skin likes, because it is a beautiful foundation. This foundation goes on your skin. It is super full coverage if you want it to be, but it also has this like really natural appearance on your skin, which was phenomenal to me because I am not a full coverage girl, and I'm not a full coverage girl because I don't like the cakiness of a full coverage foundation. This is not that. This is an amazing foundation. I am in the shade LN6 and it is just such a great foundation. There are so many shades to choose from in this foundation, so you're gonna want to like do some research, go on the Ulta Beauty, their Glam Lab app, and try it on before you purchase it, because there's just far too many. You will make a mistake if you try it on your own, more than likely. LN6 was the perfect match for me, and I have kind of like a lighter olive toned, a little bit, sways a little bit warm complexion. Perfect for me. What I also love about this foundation is that when it does have a pump, as you can see, but when you unscrew the top, it has a doe foot on the inside. Many foundations that have tried this, that doe foot has this really like hard core where the tube is that leads up into the pump. This one doesn't. I feel like it's very comfortable. This full coverage foundation is super long wearing, super comfortable to wear, super breathable, and just looks really beautiful and natural on your skin. I would say it even sways a little bit dewy, but not so dewy that if you don't like a dewy foundation, you wouldn't love it. The next one I have is concealer, and I have to be honest, this one is a little bit newer to my collection. I think I picked one up in September, maybe August. And it is the Juvia's Place. This is, I can't remember what the name of this concealer is, and it's not on the tag, but this is the Juvia's Place concealer. I am in the shade 19, and this looks really light, but it blends so beautifully into my skin. I feel like it is nice high coverage for my crazy under eyes. It covers up all the blue that is in my under eyes, and I have one that is really awful to me. It's not super creamy that it's going to fill into your, you know, fine lines and wrinkles, and it's going to be apparent. It does crease, but I have never had a concealer, even the creaseless concealers, that don't crease. But I find that if I just tap my finger over it, the creases are gone. It is emollient enough that it doesn't make my under eyes look so crepey and dry, but dry enough that it doesn't like move all over the place on my skin and you find it creating deep creasing. This would be my one and done concealer, in addition to the fact that it is huge. This container is giant, so I also use this as foundation on my no foundation days. I don't use concealer very often, but if I did have to choose one concealer to take with me anywhere, it would be this guy. The next one I have on here is corrector, and really there was only one that I could think of, and that is the Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector. You guys, I am so sad that Becca is going out of business for this reason. I do have a lot of their shimmering skin perfectors, but those are highlights, and highlights are going to take me 900 years to get through, to be honest. This is the most amazing under eye corrector out there, and I can use this, honestly. I thought about, well, this I could use also as concealer. This is no big deal because I have done that in the past. I also use it to brighten up any area of my face that I want brightened, but I don't necessarily want to put any kind of like concealer on, so to speak, because this is so creamy and so emollient and just is so beautiful. It lays on the skin so beautifully. So this is it right here, and you can see how brightening that is in and of itself, but man, you tap it out and it just blends in so beautifully to your skin. You can't even tell it's there, and it is the most amazing under eye brightener ever. It's so beautiful and it just lays on your skin. It's very skin-like and you just tap it in and it's just so pretty. And it just brightens your under eyes like no other product out there. And I could use it to brighten up any area of my face. I don't necessarily need to use it for just my under eyes. So for that reason, that would be the corrector that I would bring with me if I had to escape. The next thing is setting spray. And if you're not new here, you know. It is the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. This one is a personalized bottle. It says Donna Fierce AF. So I'll never throw away this bottle. But currently I have so many setting sprays in my collection that this is the last Urban Decay All Nighter that I have and I'm kind of hoarding it. But this is my favorite. This is the only setting spray that I have ever used that I can see significant coverage stay for the amount of time that it says it's going to cover. The one thing that I would say that I don't like about it is it does have a significant amount of, you know, alcohol in it, which is what helps your makeup to stay where it is. If I had to choose a second, it would be this guy, the Benefit Porefessional Supersetter. This is rather new on the market. This is alcohol free, so this is much nicer to my dry skin, for sure. And I do feel like it does have a great length of time that it helps keep my makeup in place, but I can still see a difference between longevity and these two, and I couldn't imagine myself without it. Powder is kind of a non-issue for me. I don't really use powder ever.
For somebody who doesn't use powder, I have a ton.
And there is one powder in my collection that I know I would want to bring with me for hot summer days when I maybe am oily, which never happens, or if my skin changes, you know, just that backup powder. And it would be the Bare Minerals Mineral Veil. You guys, this is such a beautiful powder. Before, I guess, I was ever in the makeup scene, this was a powder that I had used in the past. This was all the makeup that I had ever owned was Bare Minerals for the longest time. And this Mineral Veil is so finely milled. It's next to not apparent that you have even placed it on. The only reason why I say next to not is because they do have a tinted one, which is what I have in my possession right now. But they also have a translucent one. So the tinted one you are going to be able to see, and I do find that this one is better for me in like the summer when I have a little bit more of a tan, and then the translucent one is a little better for me in the winter when I am translucent. One of my favorite pressed powders is the Charlotte Tilbury Airless Flawless Finishing Powder, and I feel like this is its loose version, only better. And it's full of all these great properties for your skin. With blush, this is actually a newer product. This is the Patrick Taw Blush. This is one of his double take cream and powder blushes, and this one is in Oh She's Different. This I got in December. This is the blush that I'm wearing on my face today. I'm wearing the powder one, and I think that you guys can see it's just such a beautiful blusher. But my favorite one is this cream. This cream is such an easy cream blush to work with, but in addition to that, it stays on my face forever. And that's really what I found with the Patrick Taw blushes, is that the pigmentation of this blush is not eaten by my face. And for many of the blushes in my collection, I put them on my face and within hours I see that they are gone. This blush in particular, I know it stays on my skin for at least 8 hours, and I appreciate that about this blush. I consistently find myself reaching for this blush over and over and over again. This is my favorite right now. This is where I go right now, and I can make it sheer or I can make it really built up, and it is just really a beautiful blush. This is a little bit more on the sheer side, but not as sheer as I can make it. There's a little bit more on the sheerer side, and then you can just continue to build it up. This is the powder version of it, but man, even the powder is so finely milled, you can't even, it doesn't emphasize texture whatsoever. The cream certainly doesn't emphasize texture whatsoever. It's just I just think it's such a beautiful blush. And it gives really this natural appearance to the cheeks as if you're like sun-kissed or however you want it to look. This is an amazing blush. This is the Marc Jacobs Tantastic Omega Bronzer, and such a pretty perfect color. It's not too orange. It doesn't make my skin look orange at all. It's very like, it could be a subtle bronzer if you want it to be, but it can also be built up to be just such a beautiful, I mean, look at that. I think that this bronzer is like just the perfect shade of tan for my skin. I feel like it leans a lot more neutral than it does warm, which is what I like. I don't like to look orange. I like this one's undertones, and that's why I would bring this with me if I had to leave town.
With that said, also, this is so expensive, so I would put it in my bag. That would have to happen.
Contour. To me, it was new in 2020. I do think I picked it up at like TJ Maxx right before the world shut down. And it is the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil Bronzer. And while this should be a bronzer, this is actually a very nice contour shade for me. And I don't know, you guys probably can't tell, but there is quite a dip in this guy because I have been using it nonstop as my powder contour. I think that it really reminds me of the Marc Jacobs Tantastic, only maybe a little bit more gray toned. And that looks really patchy on my arm, but my arm is wet because I just wiped off everything else, so please don't hold that against it. I think that this is more of a perfect contour tone to help me look snatched.
I don't look snatched.
It works perfectly on my skin for contour. If you don't know, you don't know. Man, I am in love with a couple different formulations of highlight. But then when I really thought about what I love about my highlights and a highlight that I know I love, it would have to be the Fenty Kilowatt Duo in Lightning Dust and Fire Crystal, but most specifically because of Fire Crystal over here. You guys, this is the only highlight that I have in my collection that has pan. Do you see that pan? This is a highlight that I can see myself repurchasing. This is a highlight that even though I have a drawer full of highlights here, there's like something like 80 something highlights in this drawer, I still continue to pull for this highlight over and over and over again. And I wanted to include a face palette because I do have many face palettes and I'm trying to incorporate them more into my application of my makeup processes. You know, I'm pulling them into my Shop My Stash and really trying to focus in on face palettes. But when I thought through the lens of a face palette, I wanted to make sure it had a few options of the other things that I'm pulling into my collection. And there's not many that I have out there that have that. The one that I thought was going to bring the most extra to these one items that I am picking was this one, and it's the Balm in the Balm of Your Hand Volume 2. I recently had this in my Shop My Stash, but this is the face palette, and you guys can see it has a bronzer here. It does have some blushes here, and this is a bronzer that many people love. This is the Bahama Mama. I do feel like it gives a different tone than contour and the bronzer that I did pull in. And then we have some blushes here. These are blushes that are very different from the blush that I pulled into this if I can only pick one. Then we also have some eyeshadows here. So I figured any of these could also be a bronzer or a blush. And then it has an additional highlight over here. So if I'm pulling this highlight in, I think that this one gives a little bit of a feel that is different from that one. So this was the face palette that I chose to bring into this if I could only choose. I have to tell you, I was not impressed with a few Balm items that I had in my collection that I was sent to myself from Ipsy. and I wasn't sure how I was going to come out of that Shop My Stash feeling about this palette, but I really did like it. Mary Luminizer is not my favorite highlight, I have to be honest, and that's the one that's in here, but it does give a little bit different feel than the highlight that I did choose. If I had to choose one brow product and one brow product only, what I will say is I have really nice brows. I don't have a lack of hair in my brows, so my problem with my brows is unruly brows, not like filling them in, so to speak. And today the only product I have in my brows, and many days the only product I have in my brows, is this right here. So this had to be my product. It is the Benefit 24-hour brow setter. This is the most amazing brow product out there. My brows do not feel crunchy. My brows feel like natural hair, and they are very well manicured and maintained by utilizing this guy. I also really love the brush on this because it is flat and the pokiness is around the whole circle of it. So like you could, you know, put it like this up against your face and help your brows like stick up exactly where you want them. You can lay it down and really articulate how you want your tail to be. It is just the perfect brow setter wand, but it's also the perfect brow setter product. It isn't tinted or anything like that. Again, I don't have those problems, so this was the product that I thought to bring in. If you have those problems, like you might be thinking of a pencil, you might be thinking of a Gimme Brow or something, you might be thinking of a product that has tint to it. I just didn't, so that would be the one brow product that I brought with me on my run out of town. The one lip liner I would bring with me would be the Colourpop lip liner in Beeper. I love this lip liner mostly because it's the perfect color to go with just about anything. You see this dark lip, I have this lip liner on. You see a nude lip, I would put this lip liner with it. It looks really pretty with any foundation that I put on my face, any blush I put on my face, anything. I think it's like the perfect nudie, brownie, rosy tone for just about any lip color you want to put with it. For lipstick, I do have the Kat Von D. This is the lipstick in Lolita. And you will see how pretty perfect this lip liner is for this lipstick. I think that it is just a beautiful lip liner lipstick combination. One's a little bit darker, it gives a nice kind of ombre effect to your lips. The liquid lipstick that I chose, and many of you, this is highly controversial and you won't typically find this on my channel because I don't support this brand, but this is my absolute favorite liquid lipstick, and I wish it wasn't, but it is, and it is the Jeffree Star Delicious liquid lipstick. I know, please don't come for me. Please don't come for me. This is it. It's really that like grayish color. These perfectly complement each other even with that lip liner. I also don't feel like this liquid lipstick needs a lip liner. It doesn't bleed, it doesn't go anywhere. It's super comfortable formula to wear, and that's all I'm going to say about it, but it is a really controversial but amazing liquid lipstick. Like I have to give it credit where credit is due, regardless of, you know, whether I support or not. It's probably expired. I probably should throw it away, but I really love that liquid lipstick. If I had a lip gloss that could be my one and only lip gloss, and I think that you guys can see why I'm choosing this. Can you see where this is right now in this container? This will have been the only lip gloss that I have emptied ever, and this lip gloss is the Buxom Full On Lip Cream in Dolly. I love this lip gloss. It's just this really pretty like pinky color that goes really well over anything. This color, this formula, this lip gloss is the best. I have probably 8 Buxom lip glosses. I love Buxom. They're an amazing formulation, and a lot of people get scared away because it's a plumper, but I have to tell you, it doesn't really plump. It feels really good on your lips. It's not like fire ants attacking your lips. It's kind of got this coolingness to it kind of almost minty, but not. It doesn't leave any kind of like white ring around your lips as it's starting to wear away. I would recommend it time and time again. The other thing is too, is it shears out really nicely and it's not like super tacky, which is something that I hate, is when lip glosses get so sticky that they kind of cause like spit strindles in between your lips when you're talking. That is the most unattractive thing ever. And if I had to choose one lip balm, it would be a fresh lip balm. The one that I have here is the Fresh Sugar Coconut lip balm. It's a hydrating lip balm and I do feel like it is super hydrating. I'm not sure about the sticks that they have, but I do love their lip balms in pots. This is probably the second one that I've had. The eye primer that I would choose, I like a creamy eye primer. I like potted eye primers, stick eye primers, but the one that I have purchased time and time again is this one, and it is the KVD Color Correcting Eye Primer. This one is empty. It is part of my project pan, so this again is another spoiler, but I already have, because it's my favorite, a backup. I love this eye primer. Again, it is an eye primer that is color correcting, so it kind of blanks out everything. The one thing I wish it was is this is in the light shade, so that is about it. I wish there was a white one. I use a lot of color on my eyes and I love a white eyeshadow base because of all the color that I use, just so it brings out the pigments just a little bit more true to tone. I wish this came in white, but I still purchase it over and over and over again. It's probably well, that one there is the third one that I've had in this formulation in the 4 years I've been doing, well, almost 4 years I've been doing my makeup. So this is a wonderful eye primer. Everything stays on it really well. It goes on, it's creaseless. It's just such a beautiful eye primer. I really, really want to pick up the Sigma eyeshadow sticks, but because I love this one so much, but the eyeshadow sticks by Sigma I think are quite a bit cheaper, so I would love to try that too. That's just my preferred method of eye primer. So to compensate for the fact that I can't get that in white, I typically will go with a shadow stick. I also use these shadow sticks for like brow bone or inner corner as well. The one I love, and my friend Lisa introduced me to this, is the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil, and this one is in Milk. It is just a white eyeshadow stick, but it blends out really, really well, and you can use it also as a primer on your eyes. I do like to set down a primer before I put this down though, because I don't feel like this does its due diligence to keep my eye makeup where it needs to stay. I also don't feel like this does its due diligence to create a creaseless format for my eyeshadows to lay on top of, which is what your primers are for. This is just a shadow stick to lay down as a base underneath some of my more colorful makeup so that it actually shows true to pigment the eyeshadows. I'm not wearing it today, but I do use this often with like vibrant pinks and purples and the like. And I have a liquid and a pencil eyeliner because I do use both every single day. So for liquid eyeliner, I do have this. It is the IT Cosmetics Superhero Liner. This is one of my very favorite liners. It does have a brush tip that is very, very fine, so you can get a really nice wing out there. In addition to that, like just the shape of it helps it to sit really nicely in your hand. It is also so black. It is such a black liner. The only thing I don't like about it is that I am not super careful with putting the lid back on, and it can splay out really very easily if you're not paying attention to putting the lid on. So there's just not enough of a like opening. I don't know that they could have helped that in any way possible, but this is the fourth one of these that I have bought, and I've purchased this when I have a ton of black eyeliners coming to me in my subscription boxes. I have purchased this one over and over and over again. The pencil eyeliner that I always gravitate towards, that I have also purchased even though I have a ton coming to me through gratis or subscription boxes, is this one. It is the Smashbox Always On eyeliner in Fishnet. This is a black eyeliner, just a basic black eyeliner, but I would buy the different colors of these. I do love them in this style more than I love them in the retractable style. Not that they're any different. I'm not sure that they're any different, but I do love the pencil version more than the retractable version for whatever reason. I don't know, just a preference thing, but this is the blackest eyeliner and the creamiest eyeliner, and it stays in my waterline all day long. It stays exactly where I put it, but it gives me enough time that I can really buff it out if I want to, and it stays there. It doesn't really bother my eyes at all. I have such a hard time with my eyes, and if you guys are familiar with my channel, you know that. Like, I have this wonky eye that wants to water all the time, every single day, and it's irritating as F because it destroys my eye makeup. If I'm wearing this eyeliner on my lower lash line, it doesn't destroy my lower lash line. If I put this into the inner corner to meet up with my liquid liner, then it doesn't destroy my liquid liner at the same time. It's like a water barrier. It is the best eyeliner that I have found for my crazy watery eyes. And the mascara that I chose was a mascara that was introduced to me, I believe, early 2020. So this would be a mascara that I've been using for a year, and it is the Thrive Cosmetics Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara. This is the only mascara that I use on my lower lash line because it goes absolutely nowhere. It's a tubing mascara, so it wraps these tubes around your lashes, right? So it doesn't flake, it doesn't bleed, it doesn't blend into your cheekbones, it doesn't go anywhere. But it's also a nice enough mascara that I would also wear it on my upper lashes if I wanted, you know, a mascara that was going to make my upper lashes look fantastic, because this really does a bang up job of making your eyelashes look amazing. So while it's what I use every single day on my lower lashes, it's also a mascara that I would use on my upper lashes as well. The glitter that I chose is the MAC Spellbinder Eyeshadow, and this is in Stairs to the Stars. And this is like a red glitter. It's really very versatile. You can put it on top of many a look. This is what it looks like, and it's more like a powder glitter. I'm not sure that that makes a whole hell of a lot of sense, but it's one of those glitters that you can like slightly tap on and it just brings a little bit of really shiny glitteriness to the table, or you could really scoop it on and you're going to get a little bit more of like a base to it and a lot less like glitter. I love it tapped over the top of an eye look. And while I chose the red one, there is also like a blue and green one that I have as well that I would like tap over this eye look, right? It's just enough that it brings a little bit of diva to an eye look without there being the big chunky glitters, which you all know I'm afraid of. This one is so easy to work with and so much more versatile. I feel like these ones could be tapped over the top of any eye look and just bring a little bit of something, a little bit more oomph to an eye look. So, as far as a liquid eyeshadow, I did choose a Cover FX Shimmer Veil. I fell in love with these because I received one in BoxyCharm. And you guys, these are just so beautiful, so creamy. And I feel like you could also double this as a highlighter if you wanted to, but look at how pretty that is. Oh my God. It is just gorgeous. And it's so smooth and creamy. I don't find that these crease at all. I don't find that they like cause any eye irritation, which I'm also like really thinking through the lens of when I'm looking at all these items that I'm bringing in. They're just so beautiful. I do have these in like 5 different shades, I think, and I love every single one of them. This one was the first one that I ever fell in love with, and it is one that I go to all the time because I love purples on my eyes. This really complements any kind of like purple or pink eye look. I love this shade. This one is in the shade Amethyst. All right, last on the list, and probably what you all have been waiting for, is the palette that I chose. I'm going to let you pause it right here and you tell me what palette you think I'm going to choose. If you're familiar with my channel, you might not even get this. Actually, you should. I think that you should, because I'm going to choose something that's going to give me variety, right? But I'm also going to choose something that's got a little bit of grunge to it. And I'm also going to choose something that is going to let me feel like the princess that I am and do what I want to with my eyes and feel creative. The palette that I chose would be the Abh Norfina Volume 3. So you guys, I chose this palette because fall tones are my favorite tones to put on my eyes. But I also like a grungy eye look. I also like a purple eye look. I also like a green eye look. I just feel like this might not be what some people would think would be my first choice because there are a lot of browns in here. But man, if you look at this palette, the color stories that you see in here and just different eye looks that you could get from this one palette are phenomenal. These yellows are amazing, and any kind of mixing that you needed to do to come up with a different color that you might want, you could totally do with this palette. Also, the shimmers in this palette are beautiful. This blue, what? It's so pretty. I mean, it's like this green aquamarine blue. This one also gorgeous. Like I just can't with this palette. The shimmers in here are so pretty, but there's a ton of mattes also in here so that you could make a whole matte eye look. I feel like there's enough of the purples in here, there's enough reds in here, there's enough oranges in here, and a lot of these browns aren't actually brown. They lean more orange or more red in tone, and those are the colors that I love to wear on my eyes. Think of it through the lens of what's gonna make me feel like I have all of the colors in the world that I want to use on my eyes in just one palette. It's probably not going to be Natasha. Even though I love Natasha, her palettes are very curated, right? This one, not curated. It's like she threw a color wheel up at the wall and decided that those colors that landed in the top 30 were going to go into this palette. Because it's not like super focused in, it gives a lot more variety. That's the word. Gives a lot more variety, and I feel like I could use this palette and this palette alone for the rest of my life and never have the same eye look twice. With that being said, that is all I have to give you today. I do hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that if you did, you're going to give it a big thumbs up. I also hope that you liked it, or me, enough that you're considering subscribing before you go. I hope that if you are subscribing, you're also hitting that notification bell so that you see me in your feed. I hope that you all are safe and that 2021 is treating you kindly. I hope that everyone is staying healthy out there and that we're wearing our masks just for a smidge bit longer. I hope that you all are continuing to love each other, but love each other from afar. And until next time, everyone, bye.